Good morning, YouTube. Are you ready to feel poor? April, you ready to feel poor?
Yes. Lay it on me.
Well, Robb Report just released a list, which Robb Report used to be a very fancy magazine. I'm sure it's still in airports and things to be able to buy it and flip through all this stuff you can't afford. Yachts and expensive vehicles. And
they use the thick paper.
Aircraft, yes. They have their website, and they just released a list of the 50 most expensive cars for sale right now.
Well, my problem is usually these types of cars, you have to be on some sort of list or own like some previous generation of it. So it's not really fair, but who has an extra, 50 million lying around?
Right, I should say new cars.
Right.
Yes, not used. Obviously, a Ferrari 250, but $50 million car. But this is new cars for sale, and we're not going to do the whole top 50. There's some interesting ones, like number 50 is the Ferrari Paraswang, which I still don't know how to pronounce.
I was going to say.
Parasangwe, Jake? Paraswang?
Puro sangue.
Paraswang. $400,000 for a Ferrari SUV.
How does that count as an SUV though?
It's a suicide door.
Right, but it looks like a car.
It's
it
a
looks
crossover.
like a sedan.
So yes, that's the cheapest of the bunch.
Unbelievable.
At $400,000, but it keeps going up. We're in the top 10, which gets us into the millions. So yeah, actually the first car to crack $1 million is 38 on the list.
Wow.
So of the 50 cars they have on this list, 38 of them are over $1 million.
Okay.
The McLaren Senna was $900,000.
So sexy.
So let's see. Scrolling down through a bunch of very expensive things. Goodness gracious me. I'm going to do more than 10 just because so many of them are Bugattis. So let's start with 13.
Okay, lucky number 13.
The Aston Martin Valkyrie.
So cool. That is so cool.
1,160 horsepower.
That's beautiful. Wow.
And it is $3.2 million.
That 3.2?
$3.2 million. V12 hypercar.
Okay.
12-cylinder and electric motor. So insane.
So cool.
Based on their Le Mans prototype car. Could not be sold and driven in the United States just based on how it is. There's no way they're going to crash test these things. So unfortunately, a lot of these are sort of forbidden fruit in the United States.
Yeah, but what do you do with that? Do you drive it ever? And, it'd be $100,000 to fix a little scratch on it.
Chances are most buyers for that car, it's a drop in the bucket. They don't care.
Yeah.
But the Bugatti Chiron Super Sports, $3.3 million. Now, that is a car you can get in the U.S. Once again, 12 cylinders, 1,596 horsepower.
Wow. That's great. Is this a hybrid?
Right. No, it's not. It's not.
Okay.
They're not 16 cylinders anymore? I thought they were 16 cylinders, 4 turbos.
Still the W16.
Yeah, why does it say V12? Is Robb Report's article wrong? I'm reading their caption because I think there's still 16 cylinders, 4 turbos, 1,596 horses. So I think somebody who made this list might have had a typo. I guess we'll have Jake fact check me later. But
right?
Yeah, it broke the 300 mile per hour barrier. It's got to be the 16 cylinders.
Right.
So, yeah.
That's crazy. That's amazing.
Was the fastest car in the world. 11's the Koenigsegg Jesko Absolute, $3.4 million.
These are you're going way too fast. These are so cool. They look like spaceships, each one of them.
Calling this one the land-based rocket ship. Carbon fiber body, jet fighter wings.
Yeah, those
1,600 horsepower on E85.
It is those wings, there's like little shark fins in the back. Beautiful.
Yes, $3.4 million. And then the Pagani Huayra Roadster.
It's called the Hurrah.
Which, I didn't know they were still making the Pagani Huayra, but it still has the AMG Source V12, 791 horsepower.
Wow.
For $3.5 million.
And then you have to pay taxes,
that all?
delivery fees, it doesn't stop there.
The Chiron Pure Sport, like I said, a lot of Bugattis, $3.6 million.
So this is better than the Super Sport, the Pure Sport.
I don't know, because it only has a top speed of 217 miles per hour, so why is it more? But interesting, the Koenigsegg CC850 for $3.7 million.
Wow.
That one, 1,385 horsepower with E85, 280 mile per hour top speed. Looks pretty subdued, I think, compared to all the other hypercars, but I like it.
Yeah, I was going to say it looks stealthy. Like it's not a showy car, but then all of a sudden when you hit the pedal, it is very showy.
Yes.
Well, wait, is that the same?
It's the same car.
Look at how crazy it is from the side.
Right?
That's beautiful. That wraparound windshield that just kind of goes all the way
They
back.
kind of look like phone dial wheels, but yes,
Yeah.
Darth Vader's helmet visor sort of on the front, and
Yes.
then old school like phone dial looking wheels. It is a work of art, most certainly. Number 7, the Gordon Murray Automotive, which he's basically remaking his own McLaren F1.
Right.
He's the one who designed the F1.
Yeah.
Center seat car, $3.9 million. This one's the T50S
Right.
or T.50S Niki Lauda
I do have
edition.
to say a lot of these cars, except the Bugattis, but all these other cars look pretty similar.
Right.
Some similar styling to it.
Naturally aspirated V12, sourced from Cosworth, 725 horsepower, so sort of low in the horsepower,
Yeah, it
but
didn't hit that 1,000 horsepower like
right.
the other ones.
This is more of an old school kind of supercar, which is great that they're making this. Once again, because of the center seat deal, no way it can be sold and driven in the U.S. and without certain show and displays, whatever. I'm sure someone's rich enough to work around and figure out some way, but officially, no, in the U.S.
Right. I love the wing on it. It's really beautiful design.
Now McLaren, the Solus GT for $4 million.
I mean, these all just look like they belong in the racetrack. Like, you're not really going to be driving them, and if you do, you're going to take them for like a track day.
A V10 revs to 10,000 RPM. Whoa. 829 horsepower.
No, not 1,000. I'm not interested.
So they're going to do a very limited run of this. McLaren would do much better just producing these limited run cars for very, very expensive money rather than losing money on their
Right.
big main production cars. If they had just kept bespoke, they probably would be in a much better place than they are right now, trying to go as a big auto manufacturer.
Right.
But it's smart of them to keep doing these little limited runs of 10, 20, 100 or whatever and make $1 million each on a car.
Right. Well, I always heard when Dodge came out with the Viper, they did it and they lost money on it, but it made the brand look so cool. And they didn't make tons and tons of them, but because they were losing money on them. Like, eventually, the next generations, they probably recapped and made some money on it. But the point is, marketing is very important. So when you're making 10 crazy cars that spread all over social media and people get obsessed with them, like, it ups your brand.
If they had charged $500,000 for the Viper instead of $50,000, that would have worked a lot better
Yeah.
for them as far as like, wow, this really advanced thing. But then people would I'm buying a car with a toupee and no air conditioning and cardboard and fiberglass for $500,000. So that wouldn't have worked. But they could have made a carbon fiber body or something like that, I suppose. Yeah, look at the front end of that in white on the
What?
McLaren. Isn't that insane?
What?
Look at the fenders. It's kind of old school from like the 30s or 20s or something like that. where it's-
That's like when you predict what the future is going to look like in 100 years from now. This is what you're going to draw. This is what you're going
Right.
to come up with.
Number 5 is the Aspark Owl.
That is so cool. Stop it.
Japan's first hypercar, the Aspark Owl.
Of course, they would make the lines look so sexy. That is so sweet.
Combined 1,985 horsepower.
See, and they hit the 1,000. Thank you.
Right.
That is so crazy. Stop it. It kind of looks like, I forgot what generation, Corvette, the real swoopy.
Yes, the C3.
The C3.
Absolutely, you're
Oh,
right.
it's so cool.
The problem is they still haven't been able to make this car yet.
Okay.
They're saying they're going to sell it. They can't get out of the prototype phase. But boy, is it gorgeous. And just on paper, as far as the performance,
gosh.
sounds insane.
So they're teasing us.
Teasing, but apparently you can order it and you can plunk down all the deposit and hope that they make it. Number 4, the Bugatti Bolide? Bolide? Something like that, I don't know.
Blondie.
$4.3 million. Once again,
Wow.
just a race car for the street that would never be able to be sold in the U.S. Yeah, W16, so they have it here as a W16, but in the other part of the article, it was V12, like,
Right.
interesting.
I don't know. It made its debut in Le Mans earlier this year. It's really good. I love the headlights that are an X. It's just something different.
Yes,
I get it.
1,578 horsepower.
Thank you.
Never going to be street legal, but a line for them to buy
How much
it.
is that one?
That one is $4.3 million. Was that all? Was that all?
It's crazy.
Number 3, another Bugatti, the Mistral, for $5 million.
Didn't know they had so many models.
I
of
didn't know
cars.
either, but they're just, once again, they can make $1 million plus for each car that they make. If being bespoke one-off builders, they can get
Right.
people to line up for them and make a ton of money and just not have to make a lot of cars, but make a lot of bang. W16 again, 1,577 horsepower, but no roof.
No.
Yeah.
Wait, just complete roof delete?
Oh, I'm sure it has something you can
Okay.
tack on there, but in the photos, it is a roadster.
Right. Well, that's very cool. I like the wheels. I think they look interesting.
Number 2 is the Pagani Huayra Catalunga? Kind of. Oh, I can't say that.
That would be
That's
a
going to get
car.
bleeps. Catalunga.
Kanalunga.
It just rolls off the tongue. Just so.
Kanalunga.
Yeah, it just.
Kanalunga.
Yeah.
$7 million.
$7 million. It has a speed tail. See the quad exhaust there?
Right. It's just an interesting design, but it looks like that bottom half was just tacked on. I don't even know what to call that bottom piece.
It's sort of a weird sort of reverse aero thing, but I like the way it looks, and I love these because of the AMG V12, 840 horsepower, naturally aspirated. They sound incredible. Sort of an old school supercar.
Right.
Still being made, but yeah, still the front looks like a Pagani Huayra normally, but it's the rear that looks very different on
Front
these.
looks like some sort of ocean lizard or something with a face on it.
They're cool. They're super cool.
They're cool. It just looks a little unfinished.
$7 million.
Wow.
To have a Pagani with a fancy tail on it.
Wow. Do you know how cool that car must sound when you start it up? All of these cars.
Very cool. But number 1 is
Shut
Rolls
up.
Royce.
Shut up.
And it's Rolls Royce by a lot. A lot.
Rolls Royce is kicking everyone else's butt.
The Rolls Royce drop tail is $30 million.
What does it do?
You can order a $30 million Rolls Royce. It is just basically a bespoke sort of boat-looking roadster.
That's amazing.
They have video of it where it has like a deployable sort of picnic set where the rear trunk sort of opens up piano style and all these things in there. But every single one requires like 3 or 4 trips to England to be a part of the design process. And if you're not really interested in doing that, then they don't really want to work with you because you're building a work of art. You're commissioning them to build a work of art for $30 million. V12, similar drivetrain to a Phantom, but the design, every single one is one-off.
That it has to do everything for your life. It has to have a food replicator in it, every aspect and every accessory you could ever dream of.
Tea, Earl Grey, hot.
Needs to be in this car to be justified $30 million.
It's just, if you want to buy the most expensive new car, Rolls-Royce wanted to be on top
Yes.
by a lot. And they've gotten enough people to sign up for these. I think they've sold 4, 5, 6 or whatever, but they're only building a few of these a year.
Right.
I mean, this is just a couple of craftsmen just working through start to finish on these things.
It is beautiful.
In the most old school sense of coach building, and I think it is spectacular.
Does it hit the 1,000 mile per hour? I mean, the
Oh no.
1,000 horsepower.
Oh no. It's the normally aspirated V12 that you would get in the normal Phantom. So
Right.
it's nothing special in that department.
Right.
It is just the quality, the design, the old school coach built stuff.
Right. It is beautiful. So, what's your pick on these cars? Which one are you
The
taking
Rolls.
home? The Rolls Royce.
Oh, yeah,
You do have
absolutely.
the expensive taste.
Yes.
Which is why you like me.
You weren't expensive.
Sounds terrible.
I took you out to get Freddy's. And
We did get in and out in the back of your Maybach and watched Who Stole Spock's Brain or whatever episode that was.
I don't. That's weird.
Yeah, it was.
Well, the Maybach was heavily depreciated, so I got that for $40,000. But yeah, we ate burgers in the back of a Maybach and watched Star Trek.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I guess I'm not that expensive.
Thank you so much for watching.